So welcome to the video on kicks, and I just want to show you how you can easily create a new kick or a full kick out of the samples that are in the pack, and just create something nice out of here. When you're starting out, just choose a punch and a tail that you think work together and sound nice. And yeah, I happen to go for punch 14 and tail 14. They just happen to work nice together. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the drive is correct. So we're going to put this in a 1-beat loop so that we can really hear how this kick is going to sound when the tail is going to transition into the punch again. So this part should sound nice, and from the tail to the punch should sound nice again. And I think this sounds nice. Now the benefit of this character tail is that you only need to add a warm layer to create a full and fat sounding tail out of this. So we're gonna create our own warm layer, and we're gonna do that in Serum. So in Serum, all that we want to do is we're gonna take a sine wave, and we're gonna take anything. I'm just preferring to choose by random and just seeing what the sound sounds like. So we're gonna pull down this one by 2 octaves and this one as well. And we're gonna pull down the random so that we can work in a sample. If we take a look at our tail, it says it's in G. So the note that we're gonna be picking to create this layer is gonna be in G as well. And now we're gonna work in Serum to create this nice and a little bit moving warm layer for our tail. So let's create some movement over here with the wavetable position and just see how it sounds. I like this. Let's distort this a little bit. Okay, so this sounds nice already. Let's just put a little filter on here and make a filter move as well. Just a tiny bit so it creates some more movement. Now I think what will sound nice is just adding a little noise layer in here. So I'm going to choose alpha noise and just see how that sounds. Now I have to say it sounds the most clearest at the end, so when the wavetable stops moving. And that's fine, it's just something that we need to pay attention to when we put this layer under our other tail layer. Now the final thing I'm going to try is just moving the face around a little bit, see if it shapes the sound nicely, and if it doesn't, we're done over here. So I think this sounds nice. So let's sample this. So I put this in a mixer channel and I'm gonna choose generic over here. And we're gonna see where our tail just sounds nice with the other tail. So I'm gonna mute the punch for now, put this in a little loop again, and we're gonna put this in phase. Now, if you don't know what in phase means, it's just basically all the positive and negative values inside of waveform are kind of aligned. So over here, right now, it will be in phase because all the positives over here are aligning with these positives. And if we put it out of phase, the positives over here is where the negatives are at the other waveform. So you kind of want to put it in the right spot, but it's just a matter of just playing around with it and seeing where it sounds nice. I think this sounds nice, and now we're just gonna route this to a bus and distort this a little bit. Probably a lot, actually. Just see how this sounds. I'm thinking we might need to shape this up a little bit more, so I'm gonna try move this around a little bit. And maybe put some EQ or bells in front of the distortion. Let's see how it just works with the punch in there as well. Okay, so it's still working nicely. Only thing we need to cut off is over here, the ending. So I'm just boosting some regions right now that I feel that could use it. And just a thing that I want to test out is with my trusty shade, I'm gonna try maybe a phaser EQ, and I'm gonna make this move a little bit with an LFO, just to see if we can get some nice movement that's maybe needed before the distortion to create an even better sound. So I'm just gonna shape this up so it's moving how I had in mind. And let's just see how this sounds. Also, putting that shade in front of the distortion helps, because otherwise it's not making the tail move before the distortion. So I think this helps, and it sounds like a nice and full tail right now. And now we're just gonna add an extra layer into the punch over here. I have it already, it's Club 5, and we're gonna put that underneath there to just create a little bit of a better and full punch. And then we're gonna layer the two parts together. So we're basically actually just having this tail layer, and we're gonna have this punch layer, and we're gonna make these two work together. Now the way that I want to put this in phase is, most of the times it's just with the pogo. Sometimes I'm using a little bit of pitching to just get it in the right spot. But yeah, 9 out of 10 times I'm just using the pogo to get it in the right spot. So now this sounds nice, but I feel it needs some extra distortion. So we're going to route this to its own bus, and we're going to put some distortion on here and just see how it sounds. The thing is, and you'll get used to it when you're working more on kicks, is without this distortion it just sounds like a punch layer and a club kick layer, and it sounds really digital. Just a little bit too bright, and it's not really working together. And a distortion can really help putting the sound more together and just make it work together a little bit better. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna balance the volume out of this, and just to make sure that we have the right volume on the punch and the tail. just using my ears for this. It's just a matter of listening for when you like your punch together with your tail. Sometimes the punch is a little bit too quiet and you need to lift it up a little bit more, but sometimes your tail is a little bit too quiet and then you need to lift the tail up more. So it's just a matter of balancing out a little bit and yeah, just playing around a little bit with it. So right now our punch and tail sound balanced, and yeah, it sounds nice, but I'm just really curious what's gonna happen when we're gonna put a low pass on here and we're gonna make this low pass move as well. So this same LFO is gonna make this low pass move and maybe make it a little bit more sharp, and we're gonna apply some more distortion after this. So maybe this creates a new character in our tail that might sound even better. So I like this new movement that we're creating. It's just a little bit more resonant and it's, in my opinion, working a little bit better. But I just want to distort this a little bit more, so I'm going to use disto effects on this. And hopefully disto effects is going to help make it a little bit more tight. And I'm going to use the bit crush on here. Nah, it's not really doing anything special. Let's just keep it like this. And yeah, we're almost done right now. So what we've done is we've took two of our basic samples and we laid some stuff in there to create a little bit more of a feather tail. And now the thing that we can do is just layer a little bit of reverb in here. So we're gonna take some reverb from the punch and mix it in there as well and see if this can really glue the layers together and make a whole new drive in here. So we're gonna make a little automation clip and make sure it kicks up somewhere over here and maybe ends up a little bit higher. I just feel that this kind of automation works the best 9 out of 10 times. And of course we're gonna put this in its own mixer channel as well. And now we're gonna balance everything out. So let's see if we can maybe EQ it a little bit. And I really just don't know what even type of kick this is. You could call it something experimental, I think. Yeah. Just to show you easily how you can just take some layers out of the pack and put some of your own layers in there and yeah, just make it a little bit more fat, use some distortion and create something new out of this. I hope you like this and learned something from this little video. Cheers!